Kadosh Boker Tov, we're going to be continuing now on Daf Samech Aleph Amud Aleph. We're in 61A1. Okay? So it says over here like this. If you remember on the bottom of 60B, we were talking about Rava came and he said, Tarvayu Taninu, which we actually taught both of these halachot mefurash, and that the people of this big city could go in the entire small city, right? Because the entire small city is considered like 4 amot, okay? But the people of the small city cannot walk throughout the entire big city. What's the reasoning? It is not because it already finished a tchum in the middle of the city. And this one, they finished a tchum at the end of the city. And according to Rabbi Yidi, Anshe Tani. We learned Anshe Ir Gdola Me'alchim and Anshe Ir Ktana Me'alchim, both of them. So he had a different text in the Gemara. So it comes out that he actually they gave their Eruv to a child, to a minor, right? Aval, which means that we're talking about Anshe Gdola Natun Eruvam Bektana into the small city, right? Like the small minor city, yeah? And then you have the big city and the small city. Aval model lotran, but model we do not teach it. Okay, it says the Gemara velo, but not. But now we learned in the Mishnah. Model she'amru notnin lo 2,000 ama, afilu sof midato kale b'me'ara. We're going to give them 2,000 amot, even if it's going to finish in a cave. So says the Gemara, sof ha'ir itzricha le'delotnan. He says no, we needed the chidush to do at the end of the city, which means that if right now it came to the end of the city or afterwards, so then the entire city is considered like 4 amot. Okay. And then you continue it afterwards. So it's something incredible, which means that if the entire city is within the 2,000 amot, so then the entire city is considered 4 amot, and then you start from the end of the city, now you start the rest of the counting. So Amar Rav Nachman says, Man detani anshe lo mishtabesh, uman detani en anshe lo mishtabesh. Whoever taught whether it was anshe ayir or en anshe ayir melchin kula, they're okay. Why? Man detani anshe, the one that says Ansheir Ktana, they're allowed to go through the entire big one. Lo mishtabesh temukin lamenoten. We're talking about that they gave their Eiruvin to the bigger city. Mandatani and Shem, lo mishtabesh temukin lamodel. We're talking about they were measuring it. This is what it's lacking, and this is what it had to say. Ansheir Gdola me'alchin et kol Ktana ve'en Ansheir Ktana me'alchin kol Gdola. The people of the big city, they are allowed to go into the entire small one, and the big one, the small one, they're allowed to go into the entire big one. Mered when you one of these words, b'moded, only if they measured it. But if somebody was in a big city and they put their Eruv in the small city, okay, or in the small city and put his Eruv in the big city, he's allowed to go to the entire city and outside of it for 2,000 amot. So Amar Rav Yosef says of Yosef, Amar Rav Abba says of Abba, Amar Rav Huna name Rav Huna. Ish Yoshevet al Sfata Nachal, right? A city which is on the Sfata Nachal. If it has a mechitza 4 amot, modedim la misfat nachal. Then they're going to count from sfat nachal. And if not, from the house. So I could show you now the picture. Here it is. So if it's got the daka, right, which the daka has to be 4 amot tall. Everyone sees the screen. 4 amot tall. Then you count from here 2,000 amot. But if not, then you're going to have to count from his house, whichever his house is, 2,000 amot. Okay. So Amalei Abaye comes and he says, Dakar ba'amot amarta la'anala. You told us that Dakar has to be 4 amot. What's the difference of every Dakar? Arba, that's usually 4 tfachim, and now you need 4 amot. Amalei, he says, Hatam lo be'ita tashvishta. There you don't need to use it. Hacha be'ita tashvishta, but here you do need to use it. So Amar Rav Yosef says, how do we know this? The time was learned to the Braita, Yitir Rabbi Sheyehu b'nei Gader Yordin Lechamatan v'minei Chamatan l'Gader. Rabbi permitted that the people of the city could go down to the city of Chamatan on Shabbat, but the city of Chamatan cannot go up to the Gader. My time also reasoning. Lam Yishum Da'ani Avud Daka, but they did a Daka and the other one didn't do a Daka. So Kiyata Rav Dimi Amar, Tatrugi Metadaga Lehu b'nei Gader l'minei Chamatan. Anshe Gader were hitting and killing b'nei Chamatan. So that's why he didn't want to go up there on Shabbat in order to get them out of Sakana. But the other way around, there was no suspicion. What does it mean that he that he permitted it? Sheitkinu, that they instituted it. Why on Shabbat? The Shechikha b'Shechru, but people get drunk. So therefore, since they would get drunk, they would start fighting. So because of that, that's why they said, no, they're not allowed to come. So the people from the lower one to the upper one, they would come, they would get in fights, and they would kill them. The other city, they wouldn't kill anyone. So people could come down, but they wouldn't be able to go up. Okay? Fine. This is it. So here, they would be able to go down to Chamatan. Right? So we asked, isn't it because here they made the daka and here no? So we answered no, because, right, what happened is that if they would go down, right, what happened is that nobody would get killed. But if the people of Chamatan would go up to the Gader, they would be killed. Right? And then why only on Shabbat? Because they would get drunk and then they would start fights. Okay? Fine. Next. When they went there, they also got there where it says, a kelev outside of its city will not bark for 7 years. So it says here, why? Because basically, naturally, if you're not in your home country, you feel weaker. That's naturally. So he says 1 second, but also here you're gonna have the same problem. So he says no, we're not nechneim kol kach to bnei chamatan until they would come and they would start fighting with them. Rav Safra says another answer. It was made like a keshet. So that's this picture. It was made like a rainbow. You remember we spoke about this rainbow, right? The city that was made like a rainbow. So it says they were more than 4,000 amot from here to here. It was more than 4,000 amot. So therefore they would start from here, the tchum. So because of that, from here to here, it was okay. But from here to here was not okay. That was the problem. It was from a big city to a small city. Let me see. Okay, so the Rav Kahana, according to Rav Kahana, Matzni Hachi, he taught like this. Fine. Mishnah. There's the Mishnah on Samechalav Amud Aleph. Mishnah on 61a. The people of the big city could go to the entire small city. What's the case? If you were in the big city and you put your Eruv in the small city, or in the small city and you put your Eruv in the big city, you could walk the entire thing in 2,000 amot. Right? Rabbi Akiva says, you only have 2,000 amot from your Eruv. Rabbi Akiva says, you don't agree to me, that you put in a cave, that you only have 2,000 amot from the cave. Amrullah, they said, one of these words, nobody lives there. But if people do live there, you could go 2,000 amot. So it comes out that inside of it is actually even lenient than on top of it. Moded do measuring. Okay, fine. So says the Gemara. 61b. Amar Rav Yehuda Mashmuel says, Shavat bir chareva. If you were Shavat in a city which was destroyed, the Rabbanan, according to the rabbis, you could walk the entire city and 2,000 amot outside of it. If you left the Eruv during the day in this Ir Chareva, right, which is again, right, it says over here that nobody lives there, but it still has its walls. That's what it means, it was destroyed. You only have 2,000 amot. Elazar says, it doesn't matter whether you stayed there or you put your Eruv there. You could have 2,000 amot outside of it. So Matevei, so they asked the question, you don't agree to me that you put your Eruv in the Me'ara, you have 2,000 amot. Amrulo, they said one of these words, if nobody lives there. If nobody does live there, Module, they do agree to him. Okay? What does it mean in Badiurin? It's not fitting to live there. So Tashema, we learned to the Braita. Shavat be'ir afilu igdola kanti yocha. if you dwelled in a city, right? If you did shvita in a city which is huge, like Antiochia, it was the biggest city in the north of Israel, from Antiochus Melech Yavan, the king of Greek, right? Obe Me'ara, afilu Me'ara Tzidkiah, just like the Me'ara Tzidkiah Melech Yehuda, Melech Kula Yodat to go the entire distance, and outside of it for 2,000 amok. Tani Yidumia the Me'ara, we learned the city just like the cave, just like this city, just like the cave is Me'ara, Chareva is why, because there's nobody living there. So to the city is Chareva, nobody's living there. Shavat Inim, only if you dwelled there, right? But not if you just put your eruv there. Who is this? If you're going to tell me, what is to be destroyed, even if it's going to be a Shiva Nami? But it has to be Rabbanan. Ta'ama, the reasoning is because the Shavat is actually dwelled there. But if you put a Zeruv there, I would say no. So lo teima dumya de me'ara, don't say it's compared to the me'ara, elaima, but you have to say me'ara dumya de ir. The me'ara is compared to the city. Just like ir is yeshiva, is dwelled, so to the cave is dwelled. Kiva says, "Daman eno makom eruvo ela pai mama sheshavat b'modi." That we're talking about. So says the Gemara, "V'haki me'ara tzidkiya ktani." We're talking about that it's like me'ara tzidkiya. So says the Gemara, "Ki me'ara tzidkiya v'lo ki me'ara tzidkiya, ki me'ara tzidkiya gedola." It's big, but not like me'ara tzidkiya, because there was chareva and here it's yeshiva. When Yehuda shkechina levnei mevrachta de kamut v'aruvai u'bevei knisha deve'aguvar. So when Yehuda found the people of Mevrachta that they put their eruv outside of the city in the Beit Knesset of Be'agovar. Amalu, he told them, Gavu betfe, you have to put it more inside of the Beit Knesset. In order that you have more place to walk. Amale Rava says, Palga, you argue on the rabbis. Be'eruvin let the chashal Kiva. Nobody is suspecting to Rebbe Kiva. Because we always go by the lenient opinion in Ilchot Eruvin. Hadran lachetz me'abrin. Okay, we're going to start now the new chapter. Okay? Hadar imalvei kochavim bechatzer. There's a new perek. If somebody lives with a goy in a chatzer, so look, this is a chatzer, there's the Jew and the goy. Okay? Imi sheno modeh be'eruv. Or with somebody that does not agree to the eruv. He doesn't admit to the eruv. For example, kuti. Harezo oser lav. So it's going to be prohibited the Jew to carry in the chatzer. It's only going to be when there are two Jews together. That's when it's going to be prohibited. However, though, right, with a goy or a kuti, it's not going to prohibit. Or we're going to see in the Gemara now. So says the Gemara ben Gamliel, there was a tzeduki that lived in the Mavui in Yerushalayim. Abba told us, take out your utensils to the Mavui. Yeah, until he's not going to take out his utensils. And then it's going to become prohibited. Rabbi Yudah says, in another form they said it. Do whatever you need to do in the Mavui. So that way he's not going to prohibit you to do your thing, necessities in the Mavui. So this is what we're talking about, 2 Yisraelim and 1 Goy. So then it's going to prohibit. Or here also, this was the Tzeduki and all the Jews, Yisraelim. Okay, so there's no pictures until Samech Gimel Mubet. Okay. So says the Gemara, Samech Bet Amud Aleph, 62a1. Yativ Abaye Baravim Rechinana Baravim was sitting Abaye Baravim Rechinana Baravim. Yativ Abaye was sitting by them. Yativ Kama, and they were saying, Bishlam Rabbi Meir, this is going to come to Rabbi Meir, Kasavar he holds, which is the Tanakama. Dirat Ovek Ochvim Shma Dira, the Goy's house is called a Dira. So Lo Shnacha Velo Shnatre, there's no difference between 1 Goy or 2 Goys. But according to Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, that he says, no, that there's only going to be 2 Jews instead of, Mike said, what does he hold? If he's going to hold Dirat, or Vekochavim is called the Dira, even 1 is going to prohibit. And if it's not called the Dira, so they even 2. Amaleo Abaye says, it's like a barn of animals. Rather, everyone who holds Dirat Vekochavim is not called a Dira. Here it's a decree that we don't want to learn from the actions of a goy. That's a machloket. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov savar kevin over chovim chashut shvul damim trei shviche the daire gazru behu. Right? Chad lo shchiach lo gazru berabanan. He says what's happening is like this. He says the goy is suspected of killing. And therefore, what's going to happen is that it's not going to be common that a Jew is going to live by himself in the courtyard with a goy. So therefore, 2 Jews, they would live there. So therefore, there was a decree. However, though 1 Jew, there was no decree. Okay, Rabbi Meir holds the mikra died. Sometimes it does happen, and therefore it's always going to be prohibited. And the rabbis say, Eiruvin is not going to help. In a place of the goyim, right? And also bitul reshut does not help in a place of chovim. Until he's going to rent for him a place. My time, what's the reasoning? If it's going to happen that he's going to start using his property, that's only good if you need a good schirut, a good renting. If you're going to tell me that you need a schirut ruah, what are you going to say? The Itmar was stated, Rav Chasta Amar Rav Chasta says, B'schirut b'ri'ah, Masechet says, B'schirut re'uah, bad one. My re'uah, what does it mean a bad one? My b'ri'ah. Ilema, if you're going to tell me it's b'pruta re'uah, pachom mishave pruta, less than shave pruta, Mikal mandaman, this is the mandaman that says, Mavek chuvim, pachom mishave pruta, lo. V'ashalach Rabbi Yitzchak, Rabbi Yaakov bar Geyure, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, have you yodin shesochrim Mavek chuvim, afilu pachom mishave pruta? You should know you're allowed to rent it from the goy even with less than a shave pruta. He says if he's going to be killed for stealing less than a shave pruta, because according to the goy, even that is considered money. Which means by a Jew you would never kill them, but by a ben noach, he's going to be killed even if he steals nothing. Like a gum. It's not going to be to give it back. That means he cannot give it back, and then he's going to become exempt from death penalty. Okay, because the mitzvah v'ashavat gezela is only by a Jew, not by a goy. Ela bria, but rather it's like bria. V'moharke v'arbugane, ruah belo moharke v'arbugane, which means it's not only shem schirut in order to permit it. So hani chaleman da'amar schirut bidea ba'inan, that we need a good schirut. But according to the manner of schirut ruah ba'inan, Michael, what are you going to say? That you don't need a good one. So still he's going to start suspecting for witchcraft. Right? Velo mogar. And he's not going to be maskim to rent it out, right, for this. So Gufa, we also stated, the chatzer of a goy is like a dir of a behema. You're allowed to bring it in from the chatzer to the batim to the chatzer. There's going to be a Yisrael, it's going to prohibit it. These are the words of Rabbi Meir. Eliezer ben Yaakov says, Le'olam said, Ad shiyu shnei Yisraelim osrim zel zeh. It's not going to prohibit unless there's going to be 2 Yisraelim prohibiting one on top of the other one. Okay? Samech bet amubet, 62b. Amar more says, Chatzero shelo v'kochovim arei kedish shel behema. It's like a barn. Hanan Tanam, we learned that darim v'kochovim chatzer as this is osar lav. It does prohibit it. Says the Gemara, like I asked a question. Had the ite. This is talking about where the goy is found in his house on Shabbat. They had the letter. Here we're talking about the goy is not in his house on Shabbat. So says the Gemara, Maika Savar, what are we dealing with? Ika Savar dira below Baalim. If you're going to tell me we're talking about a dira without the Baalim, Shma dira, it's going to be a dira. Afilu ovet kochavim, even if it's going to be ovet kochavim, nami nitzar. Right, he's also going to prohibit it. Ika Savar dira below Baalim, no Shma dira. If it's going to be dira below Baalim, no Shma dira, it's not going to be considered a dira. Afilu Yisrael nami no lo nitzar. So even in Yisrael also, it's not going to prohibit it. So says the Gemara, Le'olam kasavar dira below Baalim, no Shma dira. It's not considered dira. Yisrael dechiyite asar. Yisrael, when it's going to be, he's going to have it, he's going to prohibit it. Kilete, when it's not going to be like that, because the Rabbanan are going to decree. Ovei kochavim dechiyite. But a goy, when he has it, so then when he's going to be there, we're going to prohibit it. If he's not there, we're not going to prohibit it. But he said what? If the goy is not in his house on Shabbat, we're not going to prohibit it. We learned said, according to Rabbi, it doesn't matter whether it's a goy or a Jew. He does prohibit. So says the Gemara, he's coming on the same day. That means the goy is coming on the same day. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. It says the name of Shmuel. Halacha like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Rav Huna says the minhag is like Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Rabbi Yochanan says Nagu am Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. So it's three different things. If you say the halacha zakim, that's what we teach publicly. If you say it's a minhag, it could be that, listen, if you're going to come, you're going to just say, listen, this is the minhag. But the last one, nahagu, means that was just a minhag, but not that be'emet we should do that way. So it's all very clean. Why, you're going to paskin in front of his rabbi? Why is he arguing in the name of his rabbi? One second. Abaye was coming and trying to say that this is the way that we're supposed to be paskening. So Amalei told him, "Afilu beata bekutcha baye mine min avchasta kol shani derav, right? Kol shani derav huna v'lo oreh." He says, "I asked this question throughout the entire lifetime of Rav Huna, his rabbi, in order to check what's halacha, and he never prohibited it." So Amalei Rav Yaakov bar Abal Abaye can go on, for example, Megillat Tanit, the Ktiva Umancha that it's written, "Ma'ul ruyu be'atre derebe." Are you allowed to paskin in the city of your rabbi? Okay, so it was something which was mefurash in Megillat Tanit. Amalei hachiyam Rav Yosef afilu be'ata bekutcha, even beitza bekutach, right, which is made out of milk. Ba minem rachasta kol shan dervula. He never paskin. I mean, something which is so clear, he still didn't paskin in the city of his rabbi. Rav Chasta ore bekafre b'shan dervuna. Rav Chasta would paskin in the city, right, during the times of Rav Huna. Okay, Rav Amnuna ore becharta dargaz b'shan Rav Chasta. He would paskin in the city of Becharta dargaz during the times of Rav Chasta. Okay, so again, here we're going to basically start talking about, are you allowed to be posek halacha and render halachic decisions in the city of your rabbi or not? So that Bezat Hashem we continue.